Was they put stuff in people's drinks, and then they would pass out and wake up sore. And number one, I'm like, wow, how many times have I been in an environment where someone tried to pass me a drink and I didn't take it?
You already know what it is. It's your boy Laid Back with another reaction, another review, another episode. Hey, Dame Dash, you up to bat. Bah! It's your boy Laid Back. Welcome back to my channel. Hey, two things we got to do. You got to hit that subscribe button. I'm drinking this water. You already know what it is, man. Elevate more in 2024. Elevate more in 2024. Make sure you drop the like button. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Stay up to date with all the videos. We back with another reaction. Hey, make sure you hit the like button. But make sure you drop your slogans for 2025, man. Make sure you do that in the comments. Look, we back with another TikTok compilation. We got some Dame Dash, some Jay-Z, some behind the scenes. Prepare yourself, because if you make it to the end of this one, you a real one for real. I'm just gonna tell you, you make it to the end of this one, you a real one for real. But look, I got a TikTok playlist. You can check it out, man. You can binge watch if you into this type of conspiracy type of stuff. Definitely check it out. But let's go ahead and get into it. Fire Squad, what's popping? Let's get it.
Considerable amount of time with Jay. Do you think there's any possibility that he's involved in the whole Diddy scandal?
The fact that you're just in a lot of pictures and he's over there a lot, objectively, you kind of have to wonder. It's kind of hard not to. I would hope that he doesn't and was not involved in any of these things, just regardless of whether they were illegal or not, just morally.
Right.
You know, it would be shocking to me.
Do your own research. Do your own research.
And I'm sure to the rest of the world, if he gets caught up in that. But the way they're painting this picture, it's hard not to trigger suspicion. You know, it's just natural.
That is real. That is real.
That's what was so disturbing about this situation to me, is because people obviously knew this was going on, because it was going on. And the amount of people that have said, I've never seen it, it's like they must have been really programmed to be quiet about it. And that means, I'm telling you, that circle there, that's the circle that, you know, a person like myself with the ideals and the moral fabric that I have, you would be real surprised if I would take any money to do those things. Again, how could the person that invented pause be at one of those parties? I'd be walking around with the button being like, yeah, I'm illegal in here. They'd be mad at me.
Right.
They'd be like, get out of here, Dame, blah, 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 blah. You know?
He said, I'm the one that invented pause.
And then I'm thinking like, damn, everybody's gay? Or like, how many people are holding this secret that I knew? And you got to think about something. Like, I and my crew, we started Pause. So to me, I'm like, damn, Pause might have really saved my life, or at least made it where people understood my boundaries.
That's real. And
that was the reason why we made up Pause. So you knew that there wasn't me having no double meanings, none of that playing. Pause. Now, if I'm saying pause and everyone's laughing, but you really are kind of upset because undercover you know, may be gay, you probably hate me. So now it all makes sense to me. And because nobody's saying anything until further notice, to me, everybody that acted a certain way, and I'm trying to figure out why, and I might have been like, yo, it's bitchy, or, you know, y'all acting like men with vaginas. To me, until that's kind of made clear, and I'm not mad, it's just, I'm like, oh, I get it now. Everybody was gay. It makes sense. Like, I reflect on people being mad. Like, well, how come Steve Stout keeps being worried about me being around other girls? Like, why is that such a big deal to him? And I don't even want to say his name no more, because he's a clown. And as you see, when I addressed what he said, silence, radio silence. And again, I want to make sure people understand, I ain't got nothing against anyone being gay. But if you are gay and you're telling people you're not, I don't think that's fair. Or if you're gonna put stuff in somebody's drink and then you want them to wake up gay, that's crazy. And if there's anything happening,
He said you want them to wake up gay. That is crazy.
with any children, that's just abominable. That's just deepest, darkest devil bullshit.
Right.
And there's no coming back from that. We took this trip to St. Thomas. And we had a real conversation. And I don't know exactly the day or time, but it was just after like just doing so much shopping of Jay and people telling me. I remember like the elite of the music business, every single executive in the business, 100% of them, from Kevin Liles to Russell Simmons to Sylvia Rhone to Ruben Rodriguez, all of them said that Jay was trash. All of them. 100% of them said. And that's why it's funny to me to see how they act these days. The thing is, they wasn't trying to let us in the door. Because they must have known how good he was. They just didn't want us in control.
Right.
But that's why I don't trust these people. And we just decided, like, yo, these guys are lames. Like, how could a nerd sit behind a desk and tell us what's good or what's not good? And we just said, fuck it, let's do it ourselves. And, you know, Biggs had some bread. So that's how he came to the table. Pause.
Who thought of the name?
Pause.
Tone Hooker from Original Flavor. So I was looking for a name. So we had like, I would have meetings for shit like this. So I had a meeting like, we need a crew. We got to have a crew. What's our name? And he's like, Roc-a-Fella. And I was like, two names. Roc-a-Fella, you fuck with us, or Roc-a-Fella represents money. I said, I like it. Let's go.
How much of a turnoff is it for people to always ask you about Jay-Z?
The turnoff is that no one asks him.
Right.
And the turnoff is someone will ask me, and then when I answer, they'll be like, he's always talking about him.
Right.
But the fact is, he's a big part of what y'all want to know that happened in my past.
For sure.
So not many people worked with Jay-Z in that capacity. Not many people have so much to say because they don't have so much experience. A lot of people that have been, maybe mistreated by him are scared to speak up on what he did.
Facts.
I'm just not. So if I hit a nigga with a pack, I hit him with some work, and he runs off on me, until I get my money back, I don't care if it's 20 years later, I'm never gonna have too many complimentary things to say about that situation. Yeah, we was cool, but he ran off with 10 birds. So what do you expect? And a lot of people that say those things, they've never been in a position of being a person that cuts checks, works this hard, and have had people at that level take them to court. Say things about them and click up and make other people, say other things. Like, if you haven't been in that position, you don't know what it is. The difference is most people that are in my position aren't so transparent.
No, thanks.
Aren't so honest. Don't take the time to personally talk to the culture. A lot of people, after they make money with the culture, they out.
Right. They get up out of there.
Lawsuits happen to bosses. But what amazed me about 50, and I even feel funny about talking about another man so much, but he did call me out, and it made me actually look at things. He's been amazing to me because he's done things I can't do. Like, he can get a lawsuit. I don't want to get sued, so I'm going to say allegedly, whatever, right? And have a judgment, but he files for bankruptcy. And then he can get on the Instagram, on the gram, and put a bunch of show money. And I'm like, how does he do that? The government would have been all over me.
Oh, man.
How could you go bankrupt and still be claiming to have money? See, when I have a judgment, I pay my judgments or, they got to find it. But I'm proud that I've never filed for bankruptcy.
50 different, though. 50 is different.
Was they put stuff in people's drinks. And then they would pass out and wake up sore. And number one, I'm like, wow, how many times have I been in an environment where someone tried to pass me a drink and I didn't take it? And now I'm like, who was trying to line me up? It's justified and warranted to reflect because I was around these people and I didn't know they played those games. And it's another level of gangster. So again, I ain't got no problem with people being gay, but if you're pretending you're gay and you're a gangster, that's gay gangster.
What? Gay gangster. Oh man.
When you say the devil, who's the devil, bro?
People that are not creative.
Like, because you know,
Damn.
when you start dabbling into the millions and the people behind stuff and the people that's able to put up this money, we hear a lot of talks about like devil worship and rituals and all types of stuff.
I didn't mean in that specific way. I just meant it in money that's just evil. That's not. If it's exploitive money, people that aren't creative, making money off creative, and they get more money than the creative, but to me that's just evil. And I like to live the opposite. Spell evil backwards. That's me. Live. Right. What's the dash?
Shout to Loaded Lux.
And the dash is the life, and there's the day you're born, there's the day you die. That dash in between is the life. I'm Dame Dash. I'm Dame Life.
That sounds like an album intro.
Everything I do, usually what I say, it always sounds like bars, right?
Bars.
Bars.
Yeah, that's dope.
That's why I make records sometimes. I just freestyle. I just talk that shit to a beat. It should be fly.
How do you feel about people talking about this dress wearing thing as a passage, a rite to passage?
I'm not wearing.
Since you didn't do soul playing, did you feel
I'm
like?
not wearing a dress.
Right.
Me neither. I ain't fucking with no
That's
shit
that.
like that.
That's that.
Yeah, I'm not wearing a dress.
But you wouldn't hold it against someone that
I'm going to tease you, yeah. I got jokes. So, yeah, if you're going to wear a dress and you're going to braid a nigga's hair, I got to tease you. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
On the friend
and wear
level,
Uggs.
On the friend level.
Can't forget that part.
Just on the friend level.
Right.
You know, the other shit you was talking about, like, you were like, leave that alone. I was like, I got jokes.
Right.
You understand? Like, I got jokes.
Right.
You know, so for certain things, I got jokes. So if you're going to come around, if you're going to wear a dress, I'm going to cut you up for sure. And if I wear a dress, all my friends is cutting me up. They're like, nah, because I snap too much to get mad if somebody tries to tease me.
Right.
So if I slip, yeah, I'm not wearing no dress. The nigga that invented pause. Like from the crew that invented pause, you think I could wear a dress?
Oh man, this dude is funny.
The pause game, we play that on the show all the time, man.
I know, I made it up. We made it up.
Do you believe there's an agenda, though, to emasculate black men, or at least to project that image towards?
I think anything that makes
world.
us feel weak or look weak and make them not feel as intimidated, yeah. Definitely. I think there's always been an agenda to make us not look powerful.
Is that the type of mindsets that you had to fight against in the industry?
Yeah, all day. Bitch ass niggas for sure.
Dang.
Dudes that should have vaginas, yes. Pause.
Yeah.
Yeah, all day.
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell it's a passion of yours. But speaking of movies, right? Nori, he came out and made a comment about how you didn't pay him for Paid in Full.
I don't know what the he's talking about. That was ridiculous to me. So again, me and Nori are on the terms that in any one of those days in the last 20 years, if he thought he didn't get paid, then he could have talked to me about it. But I don't know about what the he's talking about. So, for example, I did him a favor and I made up a part on the spot for him so he could be in Paid in Full to give him some burn. And Petey Crack was supposed to play El Plaga, but he ended up going to jail. And again, this is a situation where his big homie would not sign off on him, voted not to with him, so wasn't embracing him at all, even though he had bought some reggaeton that was dope or whatever. So I was like, yo, come be with us. And I put him in the movie and gave him an opportunity. This is a person that never acted before, and whether he was in the movie or not, it would have probably went his course. It wasn't like he put asses in the seat. Me knowing Kanye, it would be like Just Blaze starting to rap. I knew them first as producers. It's really hard for me to unsee people the way I first saw them. That's why I like certain people, no matter what they do, how much money they make, I still see them as that same person. And that could be the default. But it's hard to like unsee what you first saw.
That's real.
The reason why
that's real.
If you look at the movie, the reason why he was like the contracts took so long is because Jay would not sign off on him. So that was the problem. But again, if I were to tell Kanye, yo, Jay won't sign off on your, then he would have like jumped off the, he would have took it too hard. So I could never really say when it was always me like having to be like,
the bad guy.
Make excuses because things had to move slower because we always had to wait for Homeboy to give his one signature because he always knew that Biggs was going to rock out with me. So he just would torture us to get shit done if it wasn't about him. Now, his budgets, they got signed off on very fast. And to be honest, there was a time like I had took Kanye's chain off his neck because he was driving me nuts. So when that had happened, he was already like, I had dropped Kanye from Roc-a-Fella television network, which no one really understands because no one's ever owned the television network. It's how you get paid. It's through CPMs. It's ads. It's clicks per million, which means clicks per 1,000, really. And usually a third party will take 90% of your CPM. So when a commercial plays, like YouTube in front of your content, $30 might get made, but you only get $2 of it. That's why artists go platinum and digital and only make $4,000. That's why Snoop Dogg gets 1 billion streams and only makes 40 grand. But money was made. We just don't get it because we don't understand the language. So people aren't even conscious of how they pay out at YouTube or Tubi or any of those things. So what I did was, because I was like, I'm not a herd, especially if he's over there, it's not right. So I use YouTube for marketing, but I went and built my own network. And let's say YouTube gets the ad. Does it make sense to get 1 million views and only make $7,000? That don't make no sense. So that means that if you, the way that I'm seeing things, if any dollar anyone makes at YouTube, if you were really getting paid what you're supposed to, you would be making 100 times more, 100x, not 10x, 100x. So no one teaches us about the ads. They're just teaching us about how it feels to understand when people are viewing you and it feels good. Right. And that takes the place of the money that you're supposed to be making. The fame it gives you, and no one's asking about why they're not getting no money. What I think is, again, as it affects me, I didn't realize, based on what's being said, that Puff had so much control over so many people in so many industries. And it's a tight-knit circle. It seems like they all keep a good secret. This is what it seems like. And it seems like they're very loyal to each other. So if the guy that I'm having a problem with is over there, and that's part of their circle of coolness or black excellence or whatever that crew is, that would mean that I can't do business, or I could never do business with Puff, even if I wanted to. And probably that, to me, would mean I can't do business with anybody else that was in that house, that was in that club. So now it all makes sense. You know, like certain people that were cool with me all of a sudden just stopped, like Kevin Hart, for example, who's another person that I look at like he was on Roc-a-Fella films, right? Like I discovered Kev, and you know, so what happened with Kevin and I was we kept up with each other, like up till he was in NYC. He was doing a show at the New York, what was it at, Rock? NYU. In NYU. And I went to go see him. At the time he was with Tory, he still had his family with him, and he was getting into bigger venues. And, you know, we got pictures, I gotta find them. And then the next time it was the Garden, and I didn't get the call. And we just stopped being cool. It was like all of a sudden, the minute he got to a certain level, he stopped calling.
He wasn't fucking with you.
And that's happened with me with people where once they get, and then all of a sudden there's a whole new set of friends. And now I see him over there, like I didn't know all this, but I see him over there, you know, they got the tapes of him at the party with the mic, and when people ask him questions, he's real serious, and I'm like, damn, what the fuck is going on? Kev was over there too? And now, if I could ask him, I'd be like, yo, what the fuck you was doing over there? Like, because I've known these people for 20, 30 years. So I could, you know, we talk like that. So it wouldn't be like an uncomfortable conversation. You're a comedian. I'd be like, yo, you had the baby or you was next to the bed. Like, you got to tell me so. And why are you being so quiet about it? You know what I'm saying? But again, it all makes sense. It'd be like, well, how come all of a sudden it was just all of a sudden you new friends? Right. So what it leads me to believe is, if you're going to be friends with those people, they make you choose a side. And there's a lot, I'm like, damn, I gotta do, like literally my instincts were right. I really have to do everything on my own.
People online are saying that going after Piers Morgan was the right move instead of targeting Jaguar Wright. What do you think about that?
Again, what I think is people online, becoming, like if they don't look at the logic.
What the hell they doing? Cleaning the rug?
It doesn't matter if she could pay or not. They could make her life so uncomfortable that it could become illegal for her to continue to talk and lie.
Ooh.
So again, what you want to do is, to me, if I'm being in that position, pause. I'm gonna say, I need the truth told. I don't need her to ever be able to spread that again if it's a lie. I don't want to hear her say that. My kids got to hear it. People in business have to keep asking me. They didn't do anything to stop her from keep talking. And a lawsuit suing her would do that. And if they sued Pierce instead of a cease and desist, then everyone would know that you could get sued for that. But when you just say sorry, it's the damage was already done.
Yeah.
So if someone would say, yo, you could put up some craziness and just say sorry, then why wouldn't anybody else do that? That's the only recourse. Oh, I'm gonna take you to court? That person that I know took me to court based on a lie. No cease and desist. So I don't know, that cease and desist is like, I get them all the time. It's a legal letter. It's not, it just means fair warning, but it's a courtesy. Pierce didn't give them the courtesy, so why are they giving him the courtesy? That sounds like a favor, but that's just my opinion, and it's only triggered because it's that dude. That's all. I ain't got nothing really good to say about him based on my experience. Those guys cheat, to me, based on what they do, and y'all could break it down, do your business, see if these are conflicts. I don't want to like ramble, but it's just how I see it.
So they sent the cease and desist to Piers Morgan?
And the crazy thing is the only way I was able to get to that dream was to detach from all of that stuff. I would never have gotten the ultimate dream had I stayed around, you know? So I just, you know, I know the kind of guy that he is, and he's used to being a free-spirited individual. And then I start to reflect, like, yo, how did you avoid all that? How did you just know to stay away? You know? And it's just because, like, regardless of whether what he was doing was illegal or not, that will be judged in a court of law. But what we do know was he was doing some loose shit. Like, there were actual freak-off parties, and there were environments and things that were going on that I personally would never, ever, ever do, be around. And I think people know me, and hearing about these things actually happening, people would be like, now I understand why Dame really didn't get along with certain people. And then I'm thinking, yo, this shit was really going on? Like, cause it seems like there's like the general party, and then there's the VIP party where all the elite, so the elite people have to be knowing about what's going on, and they're still there, whether they're participating or not. That's a secret. And it must, that kind of secret, because, you know, like I heard things, but not that crazy. Not the things that have been admitted to doing, like, you know, not pause, baby oil crazy. Like, I didn't know, you know, like, it's just something that was unfathomable to me. The fact that that didn't get out, that means that's a very secret club.
That is a fact. Very secretive.
That didn't get out, that means that's a very secret club. Whoever's holding that secret, they hold it tight to the vest. And I'm like, what other secrets? Like, what deals were made in those freak-offs? Because a lot of the deals that happen in social environments. That's why people go to the club and they hang out all day. Bankers hang out with bankers all day to get deals done. Like, I would go to Tripiani's and I'd watch, we'd make, you know, billion-dollar deals over a bottle of vodka. And it was all based on, you know, that hanging out and that trust, and you would throw your man an alley-oop because y'all hung out.
Right.
If you get into that secret club and you're able to hold a secret so tight to the vest, you know a lot of business deals are getting made there. So now I'm like, damn, I might understand why certain people had certain opportunities, certain deals, you know, and if they weren't participating, they were there. And they didn't leave. And they repetitively came back. So I don't think people knew, or maybe they were, or they did know, but I'll give people the benefit of doubt. Like, I don't think they thought it was illegal, but it was loose. And as far as moral compass, morally, that would not be the environment that I would want my kids around. I would want to be around. I wouldn't want to do no business in that environment. Could you imagine me going to one of those parties and walking in that room with I'd be like, y'all know, where's the pause button? I'd be like, pause. I'd be like, you're in here, y'all bugging. What? I didn't know. That type shit. They know that I'm not tolerant, or, I don't look the other way. I'd be getting out the way. But I might not be so silent. I might not be able to keep that secret of what I saw. So I'm like wondering, like,
Man, those secret freak-offs, man.
Dame Dash said that Jay-Z can't stay silent about Diddy. Dame Dash was just asked about Jaguar Wright's claims on national TV about Jay-Z and Diddy, and he said that Jay-Z isn't going to be able to be silent about these accusations because he's had connections with Diddy, Harvey Weinstein, R. Kelly, and even Epstein. Dame Dash said that he knows from his own personal experiences from being around Jay-Z years ago that Jay-Z has had connections with these type of people for years. Dame Dash said that him and Jay-Z's relationship ended after Jay-Z chose to continue to work with R. Kelly after he knew what he did to Aaliyah. And he explained how after all of this is when Jay-Z would do the shady stuff that he did to him with Roc-a-Fella.
What are your thoughts on Jaguar Wright being mentioned all over national news?
well, the things that she's saying, the thing about her is, like, sometimes there's a lot of truth to what she's saying based on my personal experience. I'm not going to say she's completely accurate all the time, but some of the things she said were things that I was actually thinking, but I was like, I could never say that because people would say I'm hating. But I know for a fact that, the thing she said, like the thing they all have in common is, R. Kelly and Puff and the Weinstein and Epstein. I know that my personal experience with the Weinstein, that I walked away. I don't want to be a part of that, so I'm not working with you.
Right.
But, so I walked away from Weinstein, and then homie did do business with him. When it came down to R. Kelly, there was a conversation had about the moralness. Like, it's morally wrong to do a project with someone that we know, my girl,
Whoa.
with anybody for that matter.
Whoa.
So I do know that conversation was had, and I was really surprised that he moved forward with that relationship. I don't know Epstein, so I never had the chance to walk away from him. But I do know that when that project did come out, I didn't want any part of that project. I didn't want any of the money to go to Roc-a-Fella or me when it came to Roc-a-Fella. It was around the time that Jay was trying to kind of separate himself from us, and he was saying that he didn't want to be a part anymore. But, I just think that, I think homie has to answer some questions right now. If he doesn't, it just, again, it's going to make people ask more questions. And me, as a person that knew him, I'm very curious to know.
Dame Dash said all of the stuff coming out about Diddy and the information that he's finding out about Jay-Z has him reevaluating the situation that happened with Aaliyah. And he said that he does remember Jay-Z being jealous that Aaliyah didn't want to be with him and chose Dame Dash. He said if this comes out that Jay-Z is allegedly the one that set up Aaliyah to be put on a faulty plane, he said he honestly doesn't know what he would do with himself. He said all of these claims have him reevaluating everything everything that happened back in the day back then, and really has him wondering what exactly happened. And he said he can't believe that he was tied into people that were that powerful and that evil. I'm gonna go ahead and roll y'all this clip, and you guys let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
The stuff that they say about Aaliyah, I mean, I'm human. And when I look at things, like, again, a lot of things are weird right now. So I'm reflecting a lot. So I'm thinking, I'm like, well, homie might, you know, he was salty a little bit because he was trying to get at Aaliyah and I was trying to get at her. It's hard to, like, I don't want to believe that, but it does make me think it through, you know? So again, in this moment, just because there's so much gray area on a legal level, not what I'm suspecting, but like, you know, this shit is now real. Or if it isn't real, people are gonna have to prove that it's not real.
Right.
And it's a moment where I'm curious. But if any of that is true, I have to talk to a therapist because I don't know what I don't even know. I can't even like.
Man, if Jay did that,
I don't even want to go down that kind of a rabbit hole. It's just too crazy to think that me as a regular dude was in something that was just, you know, so dark, evil, and so strong, and Paul's powerful, that shit like this could even be almost a reality.
bruh, Jay set Aaliyah up, bruh.
I wasn't hanging out with no R&B.
Crazy.
I just couldn't. I think the fact that Jay was fucking with him is
This
what
dude
used to
doing-
blow my mind more than anything. Like I feel like I don't know why he wants to with this guy so much. Like why? I just never understood it. So I think it was just more me feeling awkward about the fact that I had to be around him on some level, but I wasn't around him. Like I never was around him. Like even when they, that not guilty, I wasn't. Like I came for the video, I was out. I wasn't a guy, and I think like we took pride, at least I did, and my crew, in not hanging out with famous people or famous men. Like it was gonna be, if you was gonna be famous, you had to be a female. But I wasn't trying to be up under no other famous dudes. I didn't think that was like, I'm not gonna hang out with you just because you're famous.
Right.
And I don't like dudes that much. So I was like, why would I? I have no reason.
The most fucked up shit was Aaliyah dying. That was the most fucked up shit. And all the shit I had to deal with that. You'd be surprised how people act when they think you're hurt. That's when they really start trying to make moves on you. That time I was beefing in Def Jam and shit, like when I was, they got that tape of me, and that's when they made that meeting, and they made that meeting to do some shit behind my back. So that's when they go. And, business is ruthless like that. Life is ruthless. Jay was trying to get at her as well, and I didn't know. And then she, it got brought up, and I was like, fuck both of y'all. But it never worked out for them, and we were both trying to get at her. I kind of eased up, but then we ran into each other.
Is he bitter?
Obviously. He felt the way.
The true reason of Roc-a-Fella's breakup.
But everybody knows that shit.
Do you have any opinion on the R. Kelly situation? Do you think he got railroaded, or he's where he belongs?
Yeah, I think he's where he belongs. I mean, I know Aaliyah, so I know what he did. When Jay was doing videos with him, I was being in the video, but I'd be like, yo, what do you want me to do? And she'd be like, don't start nothing, just don't be in no shots with him. So I would never, you show me a picture of me in a picture with him and shit. And then when he did the record with Jay, that's why I was that was almost like one of the things where I was just like, he's out of here, Jay. I just let it go because I couldn't believe he did a project with her, with R. Kelly, knowing that he had my girl.
Ooh,
you know what I'm saying? So I was like, if you look at it, like I'm not on there as an executive producer, and like he had done some bullshit before, like he wanted to get out of Roc-a-Fella with us. He did this shit twice, you know what I'm saying? And then went on the run. It's like,
what's crazy is that
it was just flagrant.
He was right, to be honest, because R. Kelly, once the shit came out on R. Kelly, Jay-Z fled the scene. Well, that whole situation, he just disappeared. At least from where I was.
Yeah, whatever. But the point was, he knew all the time. So she got on the plane. She didn't like the plane. So like one of our last texts before she went there, because she couldn't text from there, and it was the BlackBerry at the time, was I don't like the plane. And I literally was like, don't get on. I literally was like, don't get on it. Not even that part, but just that's what it was. Like, she knew that plane was fucked up, so she got on it.
Man, this is crazy.
There's speculation that celebrities involved in the Diddy scandal are paying people off to avoid legal cases. What are your thoughts on that?
So, for a lawyer to do that, to come out and say that there's 9-year-old kids involved and that they want justice, I don't think justice is paying that family off.
Right.
That's a vertical of justice. But justice is like making sure that everyone knows who these people are so they can't do it again.
Right.
And I'm hoping that they're not leveraging that just to get people to pay, but say, oh, all you have to do is pay, and then you can go off and keep doing what you're doing. If you're gonna, to me, if you're a lawyer, maybe legally, but morally, if you're gonna say those things, it shouldn't be, I'm gonna tell you who these people are unless you pay. Because that doesn't protect anybody. I need to know who's a predator, who to keep my children away from.
Yep.
Y'all telling me it's people that we think are upstanding and that control culture and that we would be shocked, but y'all not gonna tell us who it is? If they pay? That makes it a little less credible for me. You know? The things that were being accused were illegal things.
Right.
You can't just pay someone off that touched you when you were 9 years old and don't think they deserve to be punished on any other level but in their pocket. So it makes me think of the moral fabric of the people that are doing this. You know, but at the end of the day, it still means it's true. We're just not gonna tell you. So I need to know. I got children. I have young adults that I still call my children that are in the same parties I was at. I need to tell my kids who not to be around at all, whether they pay or not. So, you know, I don't know. But I definitely think people are leveraging this moment for some money, and it does test the credibility of every accusation, but it definitely also paints a picture that's defamatory for the people they're saying were involved in these things. So you're basically saying, homie did these things, and the people that were down with him are accountable, y'all gotta pay. Or we're gonna tell everybody, you know? And it just keeps people curious. Like, it makes the conversation keep going. And it's justifiable for someone to wonder because you wanna protect the people you love.
Right.
So it's a game now. But I'm curious to see how it plays out. But I have no personal experience with those lawyers. But from the outside looking in, it's like, you know, they went and did interviews and said they saw things and that they won't say something if they get paid. I don't think that's all right. You know, I think people deserve to get paid. But I also think, you know, if these things really happened, if they really, really happened, then people deserve some degree of punishment.
I agree. What and where are the names?
In real time, did you know anything about the tension between Dipset and Jay?
Yeah, you're kidding? I was refereeing it. I was refereeing it. I was trying to keep everybody cool. So I had to tell Jay, like, yo, why you keep fucking with him? He's young. Like, what's the problem? So Jay would be, all right, cool. And then go on the radio and say, yeah, Cam is a good earner. And then Cam would be like, why you got to call me an earner? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know why he called you an earner. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. You know, so I don't know why Jay ever had a thing with Cam. He always had a thing like that. He had a thing with everybody, bro. Pause.
And that H to the Izzo beat was supposed to be Cam's, right?
I didn't know that was the case, because I know, I don't remember that, but maybe. I don't see Kanye. Kanye wasn't just giving shit, like the beats that Cam got, like, oh boy, he took that shit It wasn't like it was given to him. It was just like, oh, this is here, I'm taking this. And I wasn't even mad at it because it was acting funny. You know, I produced Kanye's first record that was on the radio. We Are the Champions on my album, The Dream Team. So I produced that with Kanye. And the reason why he got that beat was because I gave it the sample to Just Blaze to flip, and he would disrespecting me and just ignoring me. And Kanye was like, I'll do it. And then when he did it, I said, because you did it, jump on it. Pause. And then Cam jumped on it and you know, fucking Beanie. It was dope. I think Young Chris.
What was the deal with Kanye? Like, why wasn't anybody supporting him as a rapper outside of you?
Because he, you know, like, we looked at him, like I never looked at Kanye as a rapper. And Kanye always looked at himself, which is not a bad thing, but, you know, he always thought he was bigger than everyone else thought he was until he got there. So no one really took him serious as a rapper. And again, I took him serious as someone that can do an album, make beats, and at least everybody from Roc-a-Fella could jump on the album. So you're going to get Jay, you're going to get Cam, all of that. Everyone he made a beat for should do a record for him. But I never looked at him as a rapper. And then when he started rapping, after he broke his jaw, that's when it was like, damn, he's the best producer that could rap. Like how Dre could rap. Like, you don't look at Dr. Dre as a rapper. You look at him as a producer.
Right.
So me knowing Kanye, it'll be like Just Blaze starting to rap. I knew them first as producers. It's really hard for me to unsee people the way I first saw them. That's why I like certain people, no matter what they do, how much money they make, I still see them as that same person. And that could be the default. But it's hard to like unsee what you first saw.
Yeah, I seen something online about how Joe Budden, he never got a Roc-a-Fella chain. I had no idea he was on Roc-a-Fella.
Yeah, because, you know, I wasn't allowed to do my big one, pause. But he didn't put out an album with us. So to get a Roc-a-Fella chain, you had to put out an album. So once you put out an album, that's when I would give you a chain. Yeah, like I wouldn't give you a chain. Like you know, Sparks and Oskino never got chains either because they never put an album out. Big Face was telling me Sparks had brought that up the other day.
Yeah, I heard Jay, he didn't want to sign off on Joe album.
He didn't want no parts of that shit.
What was his issue with him?
What was his issue with everybody, bro? You know, he always had an issue. I don't know. You know, Jay was retiring since Reasonable Doubt. He wanted to get the fuck away from us since Reasonable Doubt.
Dang.
Like when I see everything, I'm like, why else would he retire every, year, and would not retire? So, it was always a problem, with anything that kind of like had the potential to be another anchor for us where we didn't have to depend on him. He didn't want none of that.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, man. That would have been a dope move too, him being on Roc-a-Fella.
Now, I like that anytime that someone tried to lyrically battle him, that he would step right back. Like Joe Buttons could rap back then. I don't know what he's doing now, but back then he could rap. And also, like, he was like so what was happening was anyone that was kind of on Def Jam, that was getting neglected, like Joe Budden, I think, was on Def Jam and so was Nori, and they were shitting on them. So I'd be like, yo, just come with us. You know what I mean? Like, Twister was supposed to be a Roc-a-Fella. I gave him a chain, I think. But Craig Coleman was hating, and Kanye f***ed that deal up. Common Sense was supposed to be a fucking Roc-a-Fella. John Legend was supposed to be a Roc-a-Fella. Like, I toured John Legend. Like, I would have never took John Legend on the road with Kanye and paid for him to go around the world to sing before Kanye sang, unless I thought that he was going to sign with Roc-a-Fella. He did some sneaky shit and went to Sony. I mean, I don't think Bleek wanted to take over. I don't think he had the ability to. Jay was writing a lot of his rhymes. So if Jay retired, that meant he was out of business as well.
Whoa.
You know what I'm saying?
Whoa.
Like Jay couldn't. If he's still making records, Jay can't retire. Jay was writing his record. Ask Bleek about it. But that was like Bleek. Put it like this: I could understand Bleek's loyalty to Jay because he had Jay as a ghostwriter. But like Bleek was like someone that I had to like. I remember with Bleek, he was supposed like to get on the first side, the A side of a Clue record was a big deal, and we got him real estate on a Clue record, A side privilege, and he was like, I didn't feel like writing a rap or couldn't at the time, and you know I had to make the decision to bench him. You know what I'm saying? Like I made the decision like he could sit down because I'm not putting our money into that. And he's not gonna fight. I'm not fighting harder for him than he fights for himself. So there's always been like I've always had to push Bleek to put an album out, or you know, it's like I don't know. I personally think I wanted more for Bleek than Bleek wanted for himself. Like I would argue with him about, yo, do your own show and do your own. That was our argument. This is what we was always arguing about. Like stop depending on this dude to do everything for you. You got to do it on your own. Like you don't want to be 40 years old just doing interviews, talking about him all day as a business model, and you're still working. Like you still got to move when he say so. That's not what I would consider like the perfect life that I would
really matter. Like education, how to really help our culture, raising a child, eating healthy. Like, again, having all the money in the world and not having your freedom, you're broke. Or not having your health, you're broke. And, I was able, and this was always my motto, was to always invest in my woman. The woman that I love is to make her independent, or the ability to be independent of me. That's to me, the best security a woman could have is to know that she's there because she wants to be, and that she could walk away at any time because she has enough money, which is what my ex-wife did. But I was able to focus on Raquel, us making a baby, her writing a book, a curriculum. I was able to study with principals. I'm not even gonna say teach, because they taught me, They taught us how to be a better parent. And with that information, we got inspired to make a whole network about it. If I was in those rooms doing those things, number one, I wouldn't be around my family. That's number one. Number two, I would be working on different agendas. The agenda of getting paid a lot of money to present images of us and on all verticals, from music to art to everything, of us hurting each other, our dysfunction, us being dependent on them. And that's what was so disturbing about this situation to me, is because people obviously knew this was going on, because it was going on. And the amount of people that have said, I've never seen it, it's like they must have been really programmed to be quiet about it. And that means, I'm telling you, that circle there, that's the circle that, a person like myself with the ideals and the moral fabric that I have, you would be real surprised if I would take any money to do those things.
No way.
I just wish, to be honest, that the people that are being accused of certain things, they should just step up and be like, yo, they bugging. Just dead that shit. Like, this is a very transparent place and world in these days. It's very easy to say that's not true. I wasn't at that party. I didn't do what they said I did. And, I remember when I would ask Jay, yo, how come they keep saying we beefing, and how come you don't say nothing about it? He'd be like, oh, I don't want to bring no fuel to it. Nah, that brought all the fuel to it.
Right.
So being silent is sometimes the loudest thing in the world. So I believe if the things aren't true, because I hear the stuff that Jaguar says, and she be on like 10 toes down, like not allegedly. And I've been sued for not saying allegedly. That's why I got this problem I have now with this judgment. I have been sued for not saying allegedly. So the things she's saying, and she'd be like, no allegedly, like no Diddy pause, or like, they be like, no allegedly. I would think that they could shut that down. So I'm curious now. I'm not saying it's true or not. I'm saying, yo, well, how come when I say the littlest shit, like I got sued again by that, again, I don't want to get sued, right? Because they take anything. But Josh Weber, the dude that's pretending he directed a movie I directed based on my personal account, sued me in LA again for $4 million for a interview I did with Earn Your Leisure where I didn't even say his name. Do you know what I'm saying? So you have to be careful. So I know, like, you can get sued for nothing. So I'm like, yo, how come nobody's suing these people? Why won't they just say nah? Like, you know, I'm not calling out no names, but we all know that the shit they saying is nuts. Pause. It's so that I can't even, it's nuts. And not just for Homeboy, for everybody. So I'm hoping the stuff I'm hearing isn't gonna happen. I'm hoping that the stuff I'm hearing isn't true. I don't want anybody to be that dark. I don't want another blow for hip hop. You know? And I'm just trying to figure out, you know, I'm very curious to know who was at them parties. You know what I'm saying? Like, someone was there.
Right.
You know, I'm not gonna even hold you. Like, I can't pretend I don't want to know. But I'm saying, like, DiCaprio, and I can tell you stories about that dude later or at another time. But he came out and was like, yo, I don't, you know, he said something. He did say something. His press, whatever they wanted him to say, he had a statement. So I want to know why there's no statement from all these, like, the shit they saying is unbelievable.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep.
It's nuts. Pause. And I've never seen, like, my legacy has never been compromised in that way. Where people are making, you know, the cartoons. You see, there's this like dark cartoon that'd be on. I'm like, yo, this shit is crazy. Just the fact that it's being said, it's the same thing. Like, I'm sure people want to know between me and Homeboy, yo, why are y'all beefing? He's never explained that. He's never said like any of those things. So I just think in this day and age, based on the accusations that happened, not just him, everybody should just, you know, I did. When they said that those parties with me and Aaliyah and Jennifer Lopez, yeah, bro, I was at a party with Aaliyah, Jennifer Lopez is on the pillow, Natani's on the pillow. I'm gonna be on that pillow, you know what I'm saying? But not next to no dudes. And then I'm out. But I addressed it. You know, I'm transparent. Like, you could ask me any question. Like, I say no, and you could ask me why I said no, and I'll explain it to you. You could challenge me. But at the end of the day, if I'm expecting you to consume the things that I'm doing, my products, I do believe that you deserve a certain degree of honesty. Like, why do we all have to wait? I don't want to wait. Just tell us what happened. Or tell us it didn't happen. See something. Not just y'all, anyone that's being accused of that shit, bro, because we definitely want to know. The whole world wants to know.
Yeah.
But when people start resigning and people start erasing their Twitters, then it just starts to look suspicious, and, you know, it makes people...
He talking facts. He talking facts.
What do you think about the way they're portraying Jay right now?
You know, to be honest, I really hope, like, the things that they're saying are, like, they're terrible. Like, I'd be like, yo, it's hard for me to even think that any of those things can be true. I don't want them to be true. Like, you know, they saying they're going to pick him up next year. I don't want to see that man go to jail. As much as he's been, to me, you know, unfair toward, or not unfair, the way he be fucking with my money. I want to hope that that's the worst that he's been doing. I would never want to hear, like, Jay at a freak-off party. Like, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? The shit they saying, and I just be wondering why he don't say nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's terrible. And
all right, that was another TikTok compilation with Dame Dash in there, man, and talking about the Jay-Z and the Diddy situation. A lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. Even Dame said, look, we want to know what happened or what didn't happen. It's a lot of people not saying nothing. It's a lot of people being quiet. People just want to know what really happened. And is the names going to come out? Is the names going to come out? He's saying people trying to pay people off, so that stuff not... He like, look, I don't care if people get paid off or not. If something was done illegally, I feel like these people should be outed. Like, you should know what they did. And y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think, man. But y'all made it this far. You a real one for real. Till next time, no self-love and positivity, Fire Squad. I got you, and you know it.